Hey everybody, is the audio working now? Oh my god. I've got way too many things on my plate. I've got way too many things going on. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Geeks and Noobs podcast. Let's do this take two. I am your host, Superbeard Vince Hoover, joined as always by Kelman Cosplay. And before we get started on this episode, in case you didn't see it, up in the top right corner of your screen, there is a very special brand new sponsor of the show. That's right. The Geeks and Noobs podcast is brought to you today by HelloFresh. Now, many of you may have heard of HelloFresh. You might have seen it before, but you don't really know what it is. Well, let me help you out. HelloFresh is a perfect way to start off your New Year's. If you're worried about your diet and you want to stick to that New Year's resolution, but you find it super difficult, you go to the grocery store, you don't know what to buy, you don't know how much to buy, you don't know how to set up your meal time or your meal prep, you don't know how to... Exactly. You don't know how to cut things up. You don't know what to do. HelloFresh is here for you. HelloFresh will send you perfectly portioned meals all the time. Oh, not getting any audio on YouTube? Let me double check that. Here. Double check that. Check 1 2, check 1 2. Check 1 2, check 1 2. Okay. Check 1 2, check 1 2. YouTube is working. Now, let me get back to what I was saying. All right. Give me a second. We're going to get this. We will get this. I swear to God, we're going to get this. So, if you're looking for an easy way to eat well and save money this year, you can cut back on expensive takeout and delivery and get started with HelloFresh. You'll love how fast, easy, and affordable it is to whip up restaurant-quality meals right in your own kitchen. Fast and fresh recipes that take less than 15 minutes to be ready. Enjoy taste and quality done quick with recipes like falafel power bowls, seared steak and potatoes, Bolognese sauce, or a Southwest pork and beans burritos. They have meals for everybody. If you like meat and veggies, boom, they got you. If you're vegetarian, boom, they got you. You want something family friendly, boom, they got you. They even have pescatarian if you're into that, which is a great diet as well. They're keto friendly. There's all kinds of stuff you need. And right now, if you click on that little logo up in our top right corner there, use our affiliate code that's up there, you're going to get 21 free meals plus free shipping. So for as little as $36, you can get 8 meals in your very first box just to test it out. That's less than $5 a meal.
You can't beat that these days.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome. And it's all fresh ingredients already pre-proportioned for you. So all it is putting the stuff together, cooking it, boom, fresh cooked, home cooked meals that are going to taste amazing every step of the way. HelloFresh is an awesome sponsor. We're so happy to have them as part of the team. And you'll be seeing them on the channel over here for the next few weeks. So please, if you could, click on that. Just give it a month. Give it a month. Try it out. If you like it, great. Stick on because you're going to continue to save money. If you don't like it, that's okay. At least give them a month to try it out. Like I said, for just $36, you get 8 meals for your first box, or you can go even more. You can go to 16 meals, and that's less than $60. It comes down to less than $4 a meal.
Yeah.
So if you do the 16 meals, it's only $3.99 a meal. It's less than a McDonald's combo meal. It's less than just about any combo meal anywhere at a fast food joint. And it's going to be fresh ingredients. It's going to be proportioned for you. You don't have to worry about cutting yourself. You don't have to worry about any of that. They'll have the spices for you. They have the recipe for you. All you got to do is cook it and boom, ready to go. Most of them take less than 15 minutes just to do. So there you go. So once again, yeah. So go to HelloFresh. You can click right on that link. It'll send you right to our affiliate page, or you can use the code it shows, which is POGHF29 something 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 something. But, and I'll even put it in the chat. There you go. 21 free meals plus free shipping right at that link. If you use that link directly, by the way, you don't have to worry about that weird code because it'll already be put in for you. But if you happen to go to HelloFresh and forget to use our link, you can use that code to get the same deal. Now.
That's just awesome.
Yeah, so it's wonderful to have HelloFresh as part of the TGN family. I'm super excited about it. Now, for any of you who saw our YouTube thumbnail on this episode, or you saw the title, this is something that we've talked about over on our sister channel, the PWC. And why is the chat box so weird? What the? What the? That's weird. Hang on a second, guys. Let me fix this. Let me fix this. Being weird. Huh.
The wonders of technology.
Yeah, that's odd. All right. Okay, it's there. All right, whatever works. All right. So, regardless, so it's something that we brought up. We did one of our pop-up afternoon shows called "So That Happened," and I had an idea that kind of came to me. Now, as many of you know, especially more on this particular podcast, for nearly 5 years, I was the senior writer for ScreenGeek.net. But I walked away because we went from being all about journalistic integrity and positivity to clout chasing, clickbait, rumor mongering, and fear mongering on that channel. And I was like, that's not for me. That's not what I stand for. I'm out. Now, kudos to them. They've been buying their views lately, and they recently had a Twitter thing pop off that even New Rockstars quote tweeted. Because they paid New Rockstars to quote tweet it, and they paid for the 9 million views they got on the thing. But
it's nice to
kudos
have
to
money.
them. Yeah, kudos to them. Now they're not paying me. That money's going into buying bots. So good for them. Using the money good somewhere, I guess. However, that is not who we are. But it is the crux of our discussion today, and how social media is ruining fandoms. So back when we were growing up, some of us are, older than others. I am now 40 I'll be 41 later this year. I grew up in a time era when being a nerd was punishable by a beat up, outside of school.
Yep.
It was frowned upon. However, the groups of fans that were able to get together were a very close and tight-knit group that cared for each other and did their best to be nothing but positive. It wasn't always positive. There are horror stories everywhere. And the thing is, you're never going to get 100% positivity. However, as geek became chic, thanks to the increase in Marvel movies and everything else that has happened over time with streaming services and, of course, social media, toxicity has started to permeate all of these fandoms. Part of that is because to become internet famous, it's easier and faster if you're just a toxic asshole and you farm negativity for views. Clout chasing, toxicity farming. It is very common. If you saw in the thumbnail, I have a nice cartoonized version of Marvelous Mark, who we all know from TikTok, who is nothing but a negative Nancy. But bring him onto any podcast and confront the guy, and he buckles like a folding chair at a WWE event. Or even better, he buckles like a pre-cut table at a WWE event.
Yeah, that's a little more accurate.
Yeah, and you find out that it's all an act. But that doesn't stop the toxicity from permeating, because there are people who look at him, think he's being genuine, see the toxic masculinity, the homophobia, the anti-woke movement in his rhetoric, and they think it's real, and they get to permeate their own hatred out of it, and then this vocal minority comes out and makes the rest of us look terrible. And that's just, again, in the world of social media, this is what it's become.
Yeah. And just so many others following in his footsteps. I mean, we can go on all night and name people that's like this. Just they love the nerd culture, but they just basically shit all over it at any expense just to get famous on social media. And it's ridiculous. And just like, if you love it so much, why are you talking so much shit about it? But
Exactly.
But unfortunately, more people want to see people hate on something than to praise glory about it, to say how much they love it or whatever.
These people don't believe their own rhetoric.
Yeah.
Or they do, but they're just hate watching just so they know they can farm views out of it. But the fact that, like, there was an actual study done where a news network stopped running all negative stories. They did, like, I think it was a month-long period where they ran nothing but positive stories. And their viewership and ratings dropped astronomically. And it wasn't until they started talking more about the woe and despair of the world and the horrible stories and the blood and the guts and the negativity that their ratings went back up. We have, as human beings, a weird morbid curiosity with the negativity. That being said, we all see what it's doing to the fandoms. We all see how people are just leaving. I haven't made a TikTok video in nearly 4 months now because it's just so toxic out there. You have people that are just like, I'm no longer associated with this fandom. I don't even want to watch this stuff. There are people who are abandoning the product because they just don't want to deal with the toxicity. And the people who are pushing that toxicity don't care about the product either.
Mm-mm.
And all that does is hurt the fandom. So I guess that kind of leads to an idea that I had today. As I mentioned before, I used to write for Screen Geek. But what if TGN Networks creates a whole new website where you can get news articles, up-to-date stories, rumors, but approached as rumors and not confirmed facts before anything is stated? Joining with the PWC, we can offer up news on Marvel, DC, Star Wars, D&D, pro wrestling. We can offer open-minded takes. We can break down these news stories that we see for what they could mean. We can add salt to the hill of take everything with a grain of salt. But we'll be able to put rumors out there, but with the forewarning that these are just rumors and we don't know for sure. We can take these stories and look at the positive side of things instead of like, oh my God, the world is ending because this is happening. We can help deflate this instant nuclear implosion every time some bit of news comes out. So over the next couple months, I will be getting with some people. We are going to put together a brand new news website around pro wrestling, comic book movies, D&D, gaming, video games, the whole nine. We want to bring a positive light to the fandoms and create an all-inclusive community that feels like family. We're not always going to agree on everything, but we're also open to hearing others out and hearing people's opinions. And on top of that website, we're also going to create more YouTube videos in line with these articles, do more movie reviews. We've talked about doing classic movie watch parties, MST3K style here on the network. We've talked about our cooking streams, which is one of the reasons that HelloFresh is joining up with us. There's a lot coming that we want to help bring positivity, but I would love to hear from other people about what they feel on social media. Like, is everybody else kind of like, okay. Actually, that's a great point Jason brings up. We should have a grading scale by how much salt to take. And I usually, when I used to write articles, depending on who the source was, I would put like it was a Mount Everest grain of salt or take it with a small grain of salt or something like that. So we can have like a salt scale for each article. I think that's a great idea.
For the wrestling side, we should have Mr. Fuji's bag of salt.
Yeah, something like that. We can do all kinds of stuff. I think that would be great as well. But the reality of it all is, it's just, we are more interconnected as a people than ever. We live in a world of instant gratification, but instant connection. Like, it feels like, I know, like, I remember, like, going out and, like, if I don't have my phone, I'm kind of in a panic. It's like, what am I supposed to do? But I remember going out and growing up in an era when nobody had cell phones, so they didn't exist.
Yeah.
And if you broke down on the side of the road, you broke down on the side of the road. Like there was like it. We live in a world now where we're so spoiled by social media and technology that it feels like it's something we can't live without. But if we can't live without it, how about we live with it in a way that's positive instead of negative? We stop allowing it to shape our attitudes, but then we shape it instead. And that's what we want to do.
Yeah.
So the floor is going to always be open to what people might want to hear, what they want to see on the website, what kind of articles they want to do. If anybody would like to join the team, it's going to be a slow build. I'm just going to tell you that up front. But anybody and everybody who wants to contribute is always welcome. So that is something we want to do. But besides our own website, what is something else that can be done about social media? Because it really is ruining fandoms. Because as you've seen, you and I try to do the most wholesome, positive takes on things, and we get zero traction.
Yeah.
And I mean, that could be because I'm not that entertaining. Maybe that's what it is. But for all the people who try to be positive, even these bigger creators, which TikTok numbers, we've talked about it before, they're very inflated, incredibly inflated, and it's not a good metric. But even the creators who at least built their stuff on positivity are now beginning to try to farm negativity. There's a whole bunch of woe is me stories coming from these big time creators of how hard their life is. Yeah. Instead of them being positive on things, they're farming the rumor mills as if it's concrete fact. And these were people before who just gave their opinions on things. You know, it's like, what can we do? I guess as society as a whole, is it even possible to fix this train? Or is it so far off the rails that we just have to do our best to hang on?
I mean, I always like to believe that, things can be fixed, but it's going to take time, without a doubt. Time and resources to fix issues within. But when the issue is with a human factor, that's a little more complicated because, like you said, people are more drawn to disaster and negativity than they are positivity. So it's just some people just want to watch the world burn and there's nothing we can do about it.
Yeah.
But I don't know. It's because, like you're saying, when we're younger, we like Star Wars and everything, and we get to find our little clique to hang out with and talk Star Wars and comic books and this and that. And that was fine. Then we would occasionally run across those people that would try to bully us about it and everything. But, we always had still maintained those friendships. And once that was done, it was done. The conversation was over. It might come back later, but at that moment, it was gone. But with social media now, it is impossible to get away from separating the positivity and the negativity. And unfortunately, the negativity is just a tidal wave just rolling all over it.
Yeah, it's sad to think that, because like I think, and this is going to sound kind of weird, I think one of the last bastions of positivity are conventions. As crazy as conventions can be,
yeah, I agree with that.
And there is still toxicity there, and especially in the cosplay community, the fact that we have to put that cosplay does not equal consent out there on the regular is a problem. So it's not perfect by any stretch, but it still feels like conventions, people are just willing to talk to each other. They're open to things. Even if they don't like a character, they'll appreciate a cosplay or they'll appreciate a booth. It feels like conventions might be kind of the last bastion of hope and positivity in the fandoms. And maybe part of that is because people spend their hard-earned money to go to these. And so they don't have time to be negative. It's not about farming clout. It's not about, farming negativity. It's just about having a good time while you're there because you spent your hard-earned money to get there. Yep. Some of these conventions aren't cheap. Mm-mm. Especially you think of like New York Comic Con and especially San Diego Comic Con. That one, I mean, That one's always a hard one to get into. But, and you always see people, again, these social media influencers at the convention. It's nothing but rave positive reviews on everything.
Mm-hmm.
They're having such a great time. This panel they went to was awesome. They get home a couple days later, and all of a sudden it's back to the negativity. Why can't we harness that convention power? Why can't we just remember? It's also one of those things that there's the whole keyboard warrior aspect of the whole thing. People hiding behind their technology and hiding behind their keyboards and their cameras. In person, they're not like that at all. So we gotta, it's the best we can do is build up our community, and instead of farming negativity, we gotta weed out the negativity.
Yeah.
I've got no problem blocking people. I've got no problem, calling people out. If a source to an article happens to be from a non-reliable website, I'm going to say that to let people know that if you go look at the original source, just know it is an unreliable site, but it is something that's worth talking about.
Yeah. There was a TikTok that I did a couple months back because this woman was talking about how in shambles the MCU Phase 4 was and everything like that. And she even brought the fact up that Martin Scorsese would watch, if Martin Scorsese watched Captain America and the Winter Soldier, said this is cinema. And I was like, no, he wouldn't. Because I know for a fact, I read a Forbes, let me say that again, read a Forbes article that said that Martin Scorsese says that the MCU isn't cinema.
Yeah,
and
he hates
that
it all.
was the headline.
But again, also, that was kind of like Forbes farming negativity, because if you read the entire interview, he says it's not cinema, but it is a movie. Like, he talked about how it's just not cinema. It's not an art. It's just but it does have its merits. Like, he wasn't shitting on it completely. It doesn't, to him, align with what his idea of what cinema is.
Exactly.
But he even said that some of his movies don't align with what cinema is. Now, James Cameron has been far more negative.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
Which I find funny because Avatar is, in all intents and purposes, a comic book movie.
Yeah. I mean, it's a popcorn flick. Let's just be honest.
Yeah. I'm not saying it's not good. It's absolutely amazing, but it's more visibly stunning than story stunning. The story is good. I mean, it's Pocahontas. So we've all heard it before. But, regardless, the idea is that, like you said, even like Forbes kind of farmed a little negativity for the clickbait of a headline. How often do you see tweets where a headline goes out and somebody has to go, here, fixed it for you, and they put what it should say? Like, that is such a common meme now. Jason says we need to be true to ourselves and hope others follow our lead. And that's all we can do.
Yeah.
Is try to be positive role models. And so that's the intention of this website coming up. And I kind of wish I had thought of this like a little bit earlier than this, because I would have loved to done a whole article on this brand new Ant-Man trailer. Ladies and gentlemen, that's called a segue. So like we don't want to harp too much on the negativity of social media. We just want to make people aware, but also make people aware that we are actively going to take steps to try to at least give you some beacon of hope, some form of lighthouse in the hurricane that is the toxicity of social media. Hopefully we can be that lighthouse. Hopefully we can be that beacon of hope. And the plan is not to grow to comicbook.com size or, even for, we're not looking to grow to ridiculous heights. We would all like to be where this is we make enough money to make it our income so we can focus fully on this, because this is what we love. This is our passion. We just want to have a place where we can allow our passion to thrive, to unfold, and to be shared. as well as share your passion. So that's the whole idea.
Yeah.
So moving on from that, we have the brand new Ant-Man trailer, which holy fucking shit. Um,
Oh my god.
this trailer, my god. Um, if you weren't a huge fan of the first two Ant-Man films because they might have been like kind of side stories and maybe a little goofy
Yeah, I
for
mean they're
you,
very tongue in cheek, very
yeah,
slapstick, but
they
this
are also like for me some of my favorite Marvel films. But I understand how it does. It's not everybody's cup of tea. Don't worry about it. This is gonna be the Infinity War for the Ant-Man series. Like, oh my god,
yeah. Oh well.
this looks so intense, so crazy. We also got our first look at MODOK, which I'm happy to say he looks like MODOK.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and I understand there's the second scene in the trailer where you show it where it looks like the metal face. I'm sure when he's fighting, he has some kind of armor faceplate that goes over his face. But we saw him without that on that, with just his big ass face showing, and it's none other than Darian Cross, Yellow Jacket himself, in this now mechanical organism designed only for killing, which is what MODOK stands for. So we saw MODOK. We saw a whole lot more of Kang the Conqueror. We saw Cassie Lang in jail, so really following in her dad's footsteps.
Yep. Yep.
We see variants of Scott Lang that seem to be more than just projections. So I know there was that one scene in the first trailer we saw where it was just like thousands of Ant-Man and Giant Man and they're falling apart. We saw what looked like, a variant come out of himself, but he seemed to be able to touch it, and there was like some manipulation involved, so it's not just a vision or something. It's going to be very interesting to say the least. So please, Kel, give your thoughts on this trailer before we try to break it down some more.
Well, my thoughts are pretty much the meme I made and put on our Facebook page. You guys want to go check that out? Please do. And that pretty much sums it up. I mean, it just went from, ooh, new Ant-Man trailer. Okay, let's watch it. And that's my reaction before I watched it. This would be my reaction after I watched it. And that's all that I can really say about it. I mean, I'm going to say a little bit more, of course, but you get the idea.
Yeah.
But it was just so intense and so crazy. And can I just say that Kang looks like he's in beast mode
Yeah,
in his first appearance in phase 5. I mean, we didn't even see this much aggression out of Thanos
yeah, I'm already
in
thinking,
Infinity War or Endgame.
yeah, I feel like we're getting where Thanos is more of a methodical wartime general.
Mm-hmm.
Kang is truly living up to the Conqueror name.
Yeah.
And I have a fear that Scott Lang is not going to make it out of this alive.
Mm.
That line about I don't have to win, we just both have to lose.
Yeah.
I was like, oh Jesus. So that was. I have a feeling that we're going to need to take a tissue box to this film.
Yes.
Because this is going to be. I mean, it's going to be kind of an almost like overly drastic change of tone from
Very,
what the
very.
other two Ant-Man films are. But it will also make sense in that everything has kind of shifted since the snap and the return. There's been just a shift overall in tone, and even the goofy stuff has its darker tones to it. We know that Secret Invasion is coming, and that's going to be like, rated TVMAs. That's going to be a really dark series. We've got Daredevil Born Again. We've got, of course, Kang Dynasty and Secret Wars coming. Things are about to get a wee bit darker. And yeah, it's
Yeah, I have the feeling that the next couple of phases, 4 or 5, and going on in 6, we're getting Secret War or Secret Wars and Kang Dynasty in Phase 6, correct?
Yeah, that'll be Phase 6.
Yeah, I really feel that Phase 5 and 6 are going to be like the Empire Strikes Back of the Marvel series,
Very much so.
because it seems like everything's getting a little darker. Everything looks like it's going to fall before, it's the calm before the storm in a way. And
Yeah. And also, I'd like to bring this up. We're talking about it getting darker. And I've seen this take, and this goes back to our initial conversation of social media ruining fandoms. Oh, Marvel's finally got the hint that we don't want goofy and we want darker, grittier adult storylines. No, that's not it at all. There will still be quips. There will still be funny moments. There will still be funny films. The reason it's getting darker is because that's where the story is going.
yeah.
And when you have such a big event like the Infinity Saga, you do have to kind of trumpet a little bit in the next storyline.
Mm-hmm.
And Kang is going to be a much more aggressive villain. And he's being introduced sooner. So it's going to get darker faster. But we're also, interestingly enough,
Use your words.
because Marvel has grown, the MCU has grown into such a massive universe. There's now multiple stories going on, and we have a multiverse issue. We have the secret invasion that's going to happen. We're still recovering as a world, as a galaxy, as a universe from 5 years of being blipped away. Like, there's still a lot to recover from that. So, yeah, we got Captain America, New World Order that's going to come out. That should be a slightly darker film as well. But again, it doesn't mean we're not going to have the quips or anything like that. We have Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, which promises to be very dark, and that we're losing people for sure. But again, it doesn't mean we're not going to have funny moments, and it's not going to be lighthearted at times. It's just the progression of the story.
Yeah, because I
That's all.
guarantee you, these people that are saying that the MCU's got too funny, it's too quippy. If Marvel took out all the jokes and just had a straight story with no humor and just stuck to plots within the story, the MCU would crumble, and people would be like, "Why is it so serious? Why can't they be funny again?" There's just, you can't please these people.
Well, don't forget, the same exact people who are complaining about it being too quippy and too funny are the same ones that say that the DC movies have been too dark and too serious.
Yeah.
And a lot of people are like, well, Daredevil was peak comic book show. You're right. It was great.
Yeah, it was
But you know
fantastic
what?
series.
You know what you don't realize about Daredevil? Go
So
back and watch it again.
Yeah.
It has its own quips in it. It has its comedic moments. Is it darker than most? Yes. It's not as dark as what DC was trying to do.
Yeah.
Why do you think Peacemaker was such a phenomenal series? It was aggressive and dark in tone, but also incredibly funny. The same with the second Suicide Squad movie. The Suicide Squad was so much better because it nailed that balance. That's why I'm excited for what James Gunn is going to do. Am I sad to see Henry Cavill go? Absolutely. Do I still trust James Gunn to pull this off? Absolutely. And so, but as Marvel grows its universe, there's going to be darker sides of things. It's just when you have villains that are multiversal threats, not just a galactic threat, but a multiversal threat, it's hard to stay funny. But what did we get in even Infinity War and Endgame? We still got some quips. We still got it. But we also got an incredibly emotional film out of both of them.
Mm-hmm.
Incredibly emotional moments. It's just going to be hitting a little bit harder on the nerves and the feels coming up because everything has grown so much, the impact is going to be deeper.
Yeah.
There's more to impact. But this trailer, arguably one of the best trailers I have ever seen from Marvel. Like, truly, just It didn't give away too much, but it gave away a lot.
Yeah.
Like it told us a lot without telling us a lot. It
And that's what a trailer needs to do. It needs to get you hooked without giving away the story.
and it really like I think the one of the reasons it's one of the best trailers I've ever seen is because it's one thing to get everybody to go see an Iron Man movie. But Ant-Man movies, like I said, they've been kind of adjacent to the MCU. They've been their kind of own standalone goofy projects that do tie in, but it is. Ant-Man wasn't even really considered like by most fans part of the MCU until Infinity War or until Endgame. And his return in Endgame and how important he was there. But now I know that I've seen so many people who are not fans of the first two Ant-Man films that are like, I cannot wait for this movie. So it hooked even those people. It hooked the casual fan, the diehard fan, and the lost fan, the fan that they lost on the other two Ant-Man films. The ones that are like, I'm not really an Ant-Man fan. I can catch that later. They're now excited to go see this movie in the theaters the second it comes out.
Yeah, I just can't wait to get to the theater and watch this film and see how the tone is going to be set for the rest of the next two phases.
Yeah. When does it come out again? Exactly.
Oh, February.
It's February. Why did you not have release date? February 17th.
17th.
So if you look at a calendar, that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 weeks away. It'll actually come out technically on February 16th because they do the Thursday showings. Yeah. I am going to go see it on Thursday. For sure. So I will have that in my back pocket come that episode. You may need to take the day off of work and go see it.
Yep.
Because, man alive, is that going to be something worth talking about. And you know what I also appreciate? We've talked about this before. I'm kind of at a point now where I kind of don't need trailers anymore.
Mm-hmm.
The fact that this is only the second trailer and we're 5 weeks away from the movie coming out. The only other thing we got was a Heineken beer commercial start with Ant-Man. That I don't remember where I saw that, but there's a new Heineken commercial with Ant-Man, and it obviously has nothing to actually do with the film. It's just Paul Rudd in his Ant-Man outfit having an ant bring him a beer kind of thing.
Nice.
But like, I don't want to see TV spots. I don't want to see a third trailer. Just stick with what we've got out there.
Mm-hmm.
It was enough. That trailer is definitely enough to hook enough people to go see that movie.
Yeah.
I am just absolutely. Give me just 1 second, guys. There is somebody at my door. I don't know if it's a solicitor or something else because they have been coming so late. We will be right back. Okay, sorry about that. So it wasn't a solicitor this time. It was actually some medical supplies I was having delivered. So that was actually something I need to go do. So, anyways, um, yeah, I feel like that trailer was amazing. There's one other piece of breaking news that I kind of want to talk about. And I haven't gone into the story in depth in reading the entire article, but I do find it fascinating nonetheless that Ezra Miller is putting in a plea deal for that Vermont break-in. So he's going to be avoiding jail time. This is from the Hollywood Reporter. So Ezra Miller accepts plea deal, avoids jail on trespassing charge. The Flash star agreed to a suspended sentence of 89 to 99 days in jail for the misdemeanor of unlawful trespass in connection to a break-in southern Vermont home last spring. He'll be fined $500 plus a $192 surcharge and be placed on probation for a year. The
Wow.
two other charges were dropped, including felony burglary charge that would have carried a sentence of up to 25 years. He So yeah.
Once again, must be nice to have money.
Yeah, it's I hmm. So I don't know what DC's going to do with this. Obviously the Flash movie's coming out. They're going to release it. I know originally it was discussed that that would be the last they would ever work with Miller. But of course, now there are rumors, which we don't put a lot of weight in these rumors, but there are rumors that he has done such a good job with rehab that they're willing to work with him again as the Flash. I don't see James Gunn working with him again or working with him at all. But I mean, we're not on the inside, so we don't know for sure.
Yeah. And I'll say this again. I've said it before on the podcast. If James Gunn does work with him in some capacity in the DCU now, I'm going to lose so much respect for Gunn. But it could also be the heads of Warner Brothers forcing Gunn to work with him too. So you got to take that into account.
That is true. And we know that WB likes to micromanage.
Oh, yes.
So there is a clear possibility that it may not be up to Gunn as far as that goes. That being said, we have already seen Gunn make some moves that kind of overstepped Warner Brothers' heads. Because Warner Brothers' heads finally brought Henry Cavill back, and then James Gunn decided that it wasn't going to work with what he has planned. And that makes sense to me.
Yeah.
And I know a lot of people are like, oh, well, why couldn't Henry Cavill play a young Superman? And that's just people not wanting to lose him as Superman, and I get that. But let's be real. When he was young Clark, still in high school, wanting to play football, he looked like a 30-year-old man.
Yeah.
In that truck talking to his dad. Henry Cavill looks young, but he still looks 30 at the same time. Like, I'm never going to accept that he is a high school student or college student.
Yeah, I mean, when I tell people that I'm 38, people always look at me as like I wouldn't guess like mid 20s, early 20s. So you think that Henry Cavill looks like a teenager? No.
Like, nobody will ever believe, like, whenever I tell people that I'm 40, that nobody believes it.
Yeah.
But I get 30 all the time. Henry Cavill is, how old is he now?
Early 40s, I believe.
He's almost 40. He's almost 40 years old. And yes, there are tons of actors that play young students in their 20s. Tobey Maguire played Peter Parker in high school at the age of 26. However, he looked like a 26-year-old in high school.
Yep.
Tom Holland, on the other hand, who is now 25, I want to say, still looks very young.
Yeah, he could
so it
pull
works.
off that high school look.
Yeah. But I mean, Andrew Garfield, there's no way he could pull it off now. So if you're wanting to do like a year one story with Superman where he's just coming to Metropolis, just really figuring out how to be Superman, that kind of thing, you kind of need to go a younger route. You're also trying to plan for the future because James Gunn has to look at this like he's kind of starting from the ground up, right?
Yeah.
So
He's got to rebuild the foundation of the DCU.
good luck to Henry and his possible new Warhammer 40K series on Netflix. I thought it was on Amazon. Regardless, I know he's supposed to be working on a Warhammer 40K series, so I think,
Yeah.
and that's going to be even more fun for him. I really think in the long term, he is such a fan of that game.
Yeah. He's done several interviews where he's talked about what he plays Warhammer. He plays he was playing World of Warcraft when he got the call for the audition for Superman and he missed it because he
Yeah,
was playing World of Warcraft.
yeah. So, also real quick, just want to remind everybody to make sure you check out our sponsor of our episode, HelloFresh. I just put the link in our chat. Use our special code. Use that link to get 21 free meals plus free shipping. It is an incredible service. You can get 8 meals for just $4.50 a meal. You can get 16 meals for just $3.99 a meal. Fully prepped, fully cut up, ready to go. All you got to do is cook it, and boom, your family's ready to eat.
Yep.
And it's all fresh, super fresh ingredients with fantastic recipes. And there's different meals for each person out there. You can find a keto meal, you can find a vegetarian meal, you can find a pescatarian meal, family-friendly meals, meat and potato meals, whatever you want, it's on there. So check out HelloFresh. You can click right on that banner or click the link in chat or use our code POGHF29841. Good luck remembering that. So it's better if you just go ahead and copy and paste that. But yeah, definitely check that out. Yeah, I think DC, I think, has a bright future, but that future is a long-term plan. Henry Cavill's 40.
Yep.
In a 10-year plan, he'll be 50. You know, like, if you're wanting to build a new Superman, like a year one Superman, and build him up, just like we have this Batman who's a year two Batman, who, again, just rumored that they're going to fold that into what James Gunn wants to do. He likes that Batman, which I completely agree with. I loved Robert Pattinson's Batman. I think it was the first time we've ever, in the history of Batman media, live action Batman media, this was the first time we ever got to truly see him be accepted and shown as a superhero. Not this dark, shadowy figure who everybody thinks is a villain and he's secretly being a hero. That scene at the end of the Batman when he's carrying that young girl out and putting her on a stretcher and she refuses to let go of his arm because she's scared of everybody else but him. He is the one shining light in that moment. Even though he is covered in muck and dirt, he's in this dark black Batman outfit. It is the first time you really see in any live media Batman being shown, like, the people love him. He is a superhero.
Yeah.
And I love that so much. And so I'm excited to see that become part of it. I don't necessarily need it to where it doesn't need to be a super interconnected universe. Like, I think that the one thing that DC has that over Marvel is each one of their characters is these iconic, almost god level style characters. Even the Batman, who is just a human, is still almost at a god tier. So you can have them in connected universes where they sometimes maybe cross over or at least mention each other, but they don't need to be brought together. I don't necessarily think we need a Justice League movie. Just have a loosely connected universe where they discuss each other, they know each other exists, but they kind of stick to their own corners. Maybe down the road you could eventually build to some massive big bad that requires them to team up in a one-off style team up and have a Justice League form for one particular moment, but way down the line. But, I mean, Superman alone, it just feels like he doesn't need anybody. I mean, a true god tier character in Superman.
Yeah.
So why would he need anybody? So and there's a reason that DC characters have weaknesses like kryptonite, stuff like that, like the yellow for the Green Lantern ring and stuff like that, or fear. There's the reason they have cruxes is because Marvel characters don't have that. They have human flaws. It's a much more relatable, much more kind of, for lack of a better term, down to earth style storytelling. There's nothing wrong with either one of them. They're both equally great in their own way. It's just easier to relate to the Marvel characters, and it's also easier to see why they would need to team up. You would never expect Superman to go against Thanos and need to team up with anybody.
No.
You would expect Superman to dog walk Thanos.
Easily.
But Thanos, to the entire Marvel Cinematic Universe, seemed a credible threat. Same with Kang. You would again expect Superman to just dog walk Kang. It's just because it's just a different type of storytelling. That's all. It's a different universe, different sets of rules. So I think there's a lot coming up. We have a lot to look forward to, which going all the way back to how we started this conversation with wanting to build our own website, our own news site, our own pop culture news channel. Between a news site with articles, new YouTube videos and reviews, new stuff on this channel, new stuff on the PWC, more stuff on the PWC. We want to bring inclusivity and positivity back to the fandom. If you're a Marvel fan, that's great. If you're a DC fan, that's great. If you're a fan of both, that's even better. If you're a fan of independence, that's great. Same with goes for wrestling. If you're a fan of WWE, that's great. You're a fan of AEW, that's great. If you're a fan of both, it's even better because you're more open-minded to enjoy it all. That's what we want to. We want to garner that open-mindedness and provide a community that feels like family, where we can all enjoy ourselves and enjoy our fandom once again, instead of just being like, ugh, I used to watch Star Wars, but now I don't watch it anymore because the fans are so toxic. I used to watch the MCU, but I don't watch it anymore because the fans are so toxic. I used to watch wrestling, but I don't watch it anymore because the fans are so toxic. The amount of times I hear that from people, and it's heartbreaking. It is literally heartbreaking that people are losing their passion because this vocal minority is farming negativity for clout. And it's also that social media is so accessible that these kind of sewer rat like people who just live in filth and negativity in their entire lives, that's all they know is hatred and bigotry and negativity and toxicity. And now they have an open forum to spew it to the world and spread it like a flu, like a virus. And that's sad because it's affecting good people and taking them out of their fandoms because they don't even want to talk to anybody anymore about it. They don't want to discuss it anymore. They don't even want to go to a comic book shop or a convention because of how toxic the fandoms are. And like we said, conventions seem to be the last bastion of positivity for the most part. Oh, Autumn, hi. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm genuinely excited for DC right now, but I can't even tweet that without some people jumping on me. Exactly. And unfortunately, as a woman in the fandom, you're going to get attacked even more.
Yeah.
You're going to get told you don't know what you're talking about, and that's ridiculously sad and just plain stupid. For anybody who doesn't know, Autumn Rains is a wonderful Twitch streamer. Please go follow her. Plays wonderful games. She especially does Skyrim and Fallout 4, which I love ever so much. So please go check out her channel. But I'm a white cis hetero male, and I have to deal with trash, and I've got it easy. But for women, people of color, people of the LGBTQ community who happen to be in the fandom, they get it 1,000 times worse. And that's just sad.
Yeah, it really is.
She goes, yeah, my opinion is just wrong a lot about DC because of the fact that I'm a woman. Yeah, see, I'm sure you get the whole, like, the gatekeepers out there. That's another thing we need to stop is the gatekeeping. Oh, you're a DC fan? Name 3 DC artists or some shit like that. You know, shut up.
Yeah.
Shut up. Shut up. Autumn, you are a fan and your opinion is valid. Don't listen to those assholes. I know you're not, as you put the laughing emoji, but still, the fact you have to even deal with that sucks. And it makes it, again, where it makes it to where people don't want to be a part of the fandom anymore. The amount of people I see on TikTok saying, this is my last video on this. I'm never going to talk about it again. I'm not going to do anything with it again because I'm getting death threats and stuff. What?
Yeah.
You're getting death threats over
ridiculous.
you're getting death threats over your opinion over a comic book character. What the hell? And it's so sad. So, yeah, again, that's why we're building this new website, this new news site where we can write articles from a positive perspective. We can talk about things without it being negative. Nobody's going to be attacked for their opinions, you know, as long as you talk in a mature and valid way and you give valid reasons as to why you don't like something and not, oh, it's woke or it's mid. Okay, why? Explain. It just is. Shut up. Stop. Stop it. It's just ridiculous.
Just pull out the can of Bitch Be Gone spray.
Yeah. Maybe that's what we should call the website, Bitch Be Gone.
Bitch Be Gone.
No, it's not what we're going to call it. We're looking into all of that. Unfortunately, tgnnetworks.com is taken. I just found out recently it's the country of India's version of Spectrum. Oh. Their internet provider is called TGN Networks. I was like, oh shit. We might do TGN networks. I'm not huge on hyphens in websites, but we'll see. But
we'll figure something out.
Yeah. Trying to see if Panda Wrestling Companies. So anybody's in the chat right now, we're getting ready to wrap this episode up, but please don't go anywhere because we are going to raid the Panda Wrestling Company and the Phenomenal 4 podcast over there. Please just go show them some love. Give them a follow. Even if you're not a wrestling fan, just tell them they're doing a good job and give them some love in the chat before you dip out. We definitely want to say hi to them. I just want to make sure their show is on before we raid. Where is my raid? There it is. Let's see here. Of course, Twitch and their lovely ads. Gotta love that. All right. Yep, it looks like they're up and running. Fantastic. So, ladies and gentlemen, that'll be it for us today on the Geeks and Noobs podcast. Thank you guys so much. Like I said, we got a lot of things cooking up in the background, like those movie reviews, the cooking specials we want to do, all kinds of stuff coming. We want to thank everybody for being here. It's all because of you. It's all because of the community that we're building. Autumn, if you're still here, I would love to collab with you on a game or two as well as have you on the channel sometime, have you up on the podcast. Love to hear your opinions on some things as well. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for tuning in. Now, let's go raid the Panda Wrestling Company.